Right. Right. Let's start today's session. So in the last session, so we were discuss about data types in Python. So few data types we were discussed. Now in this session, we will continue that. So we have seen in the last session data types in Python. So data types represent the type of data present inside a variable. In Python, we don't require to define any data type explicitly. Based on the type of the value, data type will be decided internally. Now you can see these are the data types available in present. Now these are the data types are present in Python, that is none, numeric, int, float, bool, and complex. These are the different types. And also we have sequence data types like string data type and list and tuple and also set. We discussed up to set in the last session, and today we will discuss continuation with the dictionary. So what is dictionary and how we can able to create a dictionary, we will discuss now. So first of all, so I said that already in entire the data structures of Python, two data structures are unordered. One is a set and another one is dictionary, we can say that. One is set and another one is dictionary. These are all only unordered collection of elements. So here dictionary is unordered collection of elements. Dictionary is unordered collection of elements. Unordered collection of elements, we can say that. Yes, it is completely unordered. Don't expect any order in the context of dictionary. This is completely unordered, we can say that. Dictionary is unordered collection of elements. But in dictionary, element can be a pair of key and value. One element in dictionary we can call it as key and value pair. So for example, in set, in a tuple, in the list, so element is nothing but what? Only one value. But when it comes to dictionary, element can be of pair of key and value. In dictionary, one element can be a pair of key and value, we can say that. Key value pair is called one element, we can say that. Key value pair is called one element. So next, in dictionary can be create dictionary can be created by using curly brackets, same as set only. Dictionary can be created by using curly brackets. But as same like set and tuple and list, is it mutable or immutable? You can't say dictionary is immutable directly, and also you can't say dictionary is mutable directly. Why? Because in the context of dictionary, keys and values, two things are there. So that's what here in dictionary, keys are immutable, means we can't create, we can't modify the keys. Yes, we can't modify. Once we assign a key, then we cannot modify that. Keys cannot be modified. In dictionary, keys are immutable, we can't modify. Next, in dictionary, values are mutable. Values are mutable. That means we can modify. Modify the values are possible, but modify the keys are not possible exactly in dictionary. So in dictionary, values are mutable, we can modify. Keys are immutable, we can't modify. Next, another important thing is in dictionary, key must be unique. Key must be unique, we can say that. No duplicates, no duplicate. It must be unique. But in dictionary, values values are need not to be unique. Need not to be unique. Values need not to be unique. Even duplicate values also we can able to include. No problem at all. So in dictionary, values are need not to be unique. Key must be unique. And most importantly, in dictionary, keys and values can be of any data type. Keys and values can be of any data type. Any data type. There is no specific rule. If key is integer, value must be integer. If key is string, values must be string. No rule. So any data type we can able to use, no problem at all. Key can be of any data type and value can be of any data type. Both we can use, no problem at all. In dictionary, I'm saying here. Okay. So this is the thing exactly here. So these are the dictionary related things. In dictionary, keys and values can be of any data type. Now we will see how to create dictionary, how to work with the dictionary. We'll see. I'm requesting you to all please meet from your side. Hello. I'm requesting you please meet from your side, please, all of you. Yeah, Mr. Ayush Mishra, check your headphones. Yeah. So these are the dictionary things, sir. Dictionary is unordered collection of elements. In dictionary, element can be a pair of key and value. Dictionary can be created by using curly brackets, same as set. It's unordered collection of elements. And in dictionary, keys are immutable, we can't modify, whereas values are mutable, we can modify. In dictionary, key must be unique, no duplicates. Values are need not to be unique. Duplicate values also we can use. In dictionary, keys and values can be of any data type, no problem at all. For example, if you want to display some employee details, every employee is having some employee ID. That employee ID we can consider as a key, but employee names are we can consider as a values. Yes, employee name can be a different name also, no? So employee name can be a different name. That is what we can say. Uh, any names, same person, same name, we can have multiple persons, but their ID is different completely here. Unique ID will be maintained, even though employee names are same, but their how I can identify in different way based on unique ID. So here key is a employee ID, values are names we can call it as. That is in the context of dictionary I'm speaking. Now let's try to create one simple dictionary in practical implementation. So let's try to create dictionary. I'm just taking my dictionary variable here t. So any variable you can take. So now let's create empty curly braces. So you know that clearly this is empty dictionary for sure. The print d and print type of d here. Type of d. Type of d here. Mr. Muhammad Ilyas, check your headphones. Yeah, yeah. Because other people are hearing. My side it's very clear. Just a bit. Yeah. So now you can see this is empty dictionary. So whenever I try to create here d equals to some empty curly brackets, here it is getting empty dictionary. You can see this dictionary with no values. Now let's create a dictionary with values. I'm giving key is 1, then value is for example Mohan. I'm giving key is 2, then value is I'm giving Durga. Okay. So here keys cannot be compulsory integer values. Cannot be compulsory integer values. It can be of any data type. I said no clearly. Yes, key can be of any data type. For example, I'm using key is a. So value can be, for example, any value 10. Suppose key is 3.4. It's a float values. Value can be integer values. Undoubtedly, it's possible here. But observe here, this is ordered or unordered. So maximum it is unordered only. It may get order also, no problem sometimes. Now you can see B is key. Then next value I'm giving like ball. So this is what dictionary values, key value pair. Wantedly I'm including different data types here. So integer key, string key, and float key and string key like this. But observe here, If I give duplicate key, I said that key must be unique, but here I'm giving duplicate key. So one is a Mohan here key value pair, and Ganesh is the value here. One is the same key. Only in that it won't give any error. It will give only what we can say unique key will be maintained. Means it will ignore one what we can say one type of key here. One value, only one key will be present in the output here. You can see it's not two ones. So only one keys pair is happening here. One more key pair is going to be ignore it clearly. So this is dictionary creation, and here it is type of T means dictionary values are coming. So dictionary keys are immutable. We can't change the keys, but values are mutable. We can change the values. For example, I'm changing the value. Now you can see D of A. A is value is what 10 is there, but I want to give 99 value I want to give. Now print D, then dictionary values is changing or not. You can check out. A is initially 10, but values got changes 99. So value we can able to change, but we cannot able to change the dictionary keys. It's not possible because it is immutable. We can say that immutable. Which key value it will be considered in the, yes, we can't say that because of that is completely unordered. Randomly it will be pick up that. We can't say properly like dictionary key compulsory is that key only it is there. We can't say that. So randomly it will take because runtime dynamically it will happen. So compulsory, it is uniqueness, it will be maintained. So this is about the dictionary, what we have. More operations we will discuss in coming session. No problem. Just basic overview I am giving about dictionary here. Now coming to the thing, next data type is range. Range. It is actually range. We can also call it as function, but it is very important to us. Everywhere in our logic, in further logic, we are using range function. Range function. Range is used to generate sequence of range is used to generate a sequence of numbers. We are going to generate sequence of numbers. Next, by default range will start from zero. By default range will start from zero. So it's going to be starts from zero here. Range by default range will start from zero automatically. But if you want to start with new value, if you want to start your range values like 2, then you can mention 2 also, no problem at all. From 2 onwards your range will be stopped, no problem at all. So by default range will start from 0. And next range is immutable. Once we create a range that can't be modified. Modification of the range is not possible, sir. Here range is immutable. Once we create range, that cannot be modified. So the range thing is like this. You can see this. Now you can see this. I'm using R range of 10, but my requirement is I would like to display range of 10 values. Range of 10 values I want to display. Then print R. Print R means what? We can say print type of R. Observe here, range data type, it's going to be print or not. You can see this. It is not going to print any range of values. Yes. So R is a range data type, only it is giving some structure, range of 0, 10. By default, your range value starts from 0. But what about our range values I want to display? Yes, if you want to display range values, again, you have to convert this R either into any other sequence data type like list or set or tuple, no problem at all. List of R means now we are getting completely range data type here. List format it's coming. So 0 to 9 values. So 10 means it is up to 10. It's not including 10, excluding 10. But make sure that it starts from 0 only. Sir, is that required to convert only list? No, you can also convert that into tuple format, any collection, tuple or set or list or something, whatever it is, range of values. Now you can see tuple format, it's coming. This is square round bracket here. But observe here, my range should start from 2. Is this possible? Yes, it's possible. You can see this. I have given range starting value 2 and it's going to be 10 up to 10, including 10 not. If you want to display 10 also, then we have to mention range value 11. That means 2 to 10 it's come. And this is what actually start value, then stop value have given. But one more value also we can give, step value. Step value means what? For example, here my step value is 2. Every time the step value increment by 2 only. So 2 is going to increment. So starting value 2, ending value 11, then step value is what, sir? 2, we can say that. Test1.py. Now let's run this now. You can see, so we got 2, 4, 6, 8, 10 like this, 2 value. For example, if I starts with the step value 3, then step value is incremented by 3 now. You can see this, step value is incremented by 3. That means 2 plus 3, 5 plus 3, 8, like this. It's continuation. So this is the range data type. This range can be used in many cases in the for loop context, or if you want to accept a range of 10 employee details, then we can use range of 10. Then 10 employee details we can able to enter running time. In that context, we can use range data type. We'll discuss later, don't worry. So this is about range. Now coming to this, these three different data types are there actually here, but this is not right situation to discuss about these three data types, because if I want to discuss these three data types like bytes, byte array, frozen set, then I need to apply some conditions. But if you want to apply some conditions, you have to know that loops concept. Once I complete loops concept, I'll come back and discuss with these bytes, byte array and frozen set. But I said that clearly, each and every data structure, we have to apply lots of operations. So what kind of operations we can able to apply? So let me show quickly. I have some documentation for that. So each and every data structure is having some a list of functionalities I prepared clearly. So I'll just show that quickly. So what kind of operations we can apply on each and every data structures, but not now. Later we'll discuss about. Now you can see this on string data structure, we can able to apply these many functionalities. Around 30 functionalities I have to discuss in detail. But on list data structures, these many operations we have to apply. And also on tuple data structure, these many functionalities we have to apply. On set data structure, these many functionalities. Dictionary, these many functionalities. Like this, each and every data structure, we have plenty of functionalities apply, but not now. I told clearly in the last session also, once we complete all conditional statements, iteration statements, that is for loop and while loop, then we will discuss one by one data structure in detail later. So bytes, byte array, frozen set also I will discuss in detail later. You don't worry about that. Okay, so this is complete data structure overview. What is what? Data types and data types in Python, and most of the cases sequence data types. These are called data structures, we can say that. So as I said that Python is structured oriented, like these are the data structures available, and Python is functional oriented. We will be discuss functions also, and Python is object oriented. We will be discuss class and object and how to write code inside the class and object. Everything we'll discuss in detail. But let's move to other concept today. That concept name is called operators. Yes, but it's look like simple, but compulsory that operators for sure we have to use in our cases, in our application, in our logics. It's look like simple, but compulsory you have to apply all the operator things in the concepts. So what are the operators in Python? We'll discuss in detail now. So first of all, operators, every programming language is having operators. Yes, but it is having some different operator. Python is having some different operator. What kind of operators are there? We will discuss. So what is an operator here? First of all, operator is a symbol. Operator is a symbol which is used to perform, which is used to perform specific operation, which is used to perform specific operation. We can say that. Yes, we can able to perform specific operation by using operators concept. It's a symbol actually here. So for example, 2 plus 3 equals to 5, we can say that. Here plus comma equals to r, plus comma equals to r. What here? Operators. Plus comma equals to our operators. Next here 2 and 3. 2 and 3 are operands. 2 and 3 are what, sir? We can say operands, we can say that. Plus and equal to are operators, that are the symbols. 2 and 3 are operands, we can say that. Operator is a symbol which is used to perform specific kind of operation. Now Python supports the following operators. These are the operators which is available in Python. So arithmetic operators, next relational operators, next assignment operators, next logical operators, logical, next membership operators. These are the things newly available in Python, membership operators. Next, identity operators. Then next, last, bitwise operators. Yes, bitwise operators also will be there. Bitwise operators. So arithmetic operators, relational operators, assignment operators, logical operators, membership and identity, and also bitwise operators, we can say that. These are the operators available in Python. One by one, we'll discuss in detail quickly. So almost all operators, everybody knows that: arithmetic, relational, assignment, logical, and bitwise. But the new things are like membership and identity operators are there. Let's discuss quickly here. So for example, here you can see arithmetic operators I'm using. Plus is for addition. This is arithmetic operator. Minus is for subtraction. Okay, minus. Star is for multiplication. Slash is for division. So this is called modulus, we can say that, modulus. And observe here, star star. This is called power operator, we can say that, power. That is base and exponent value will be there. That is called power operator, we can say that, star. And double slash means floor division, we can say that. This is floor division. So addition, subtraction, multiplication, simple division, and it is modulus. Division will return quotient, modulus will return remainder, and double star is nothing but power operator, we can say that. And this is called floor division, we can say that. Floor division. Division and floor division is completely different. Floor division, floor division. Okay, so this is called what's a power operator, we can say that, power. Base and exponent will be there. Okay, let's check out quickly here. Simple arithmetic operators I'm doing straight away. If you want to take variables, you can take it, no problem, but no need to take variables directly. Also we can able to apply a plus b, a minus b, like this is very simple, no? Yes, but without variables I'm going to apply the things. Now you can see printer 3 plus 2, it's a 5. Then printer 3 minus 2, it's a 1. Printer 3 star 2, it is what's a 6. Understand? This is simple uh, addition, subtraction, multiplication. Everybody knows that. Now forget about this. Observe here, print 3 double star 2. That makes sense. 3 to the power of 2, we can say that 3 double star 2 means. Now you can see 3 to the power of 2, that is 9. 3 square 9. So double star means this is the power operator, we can say that. Now, and next one, 3 by 2. It's a division operator. So 3 by 2 means division operator. Division will return what, sir? Actually, it return quotient value. Now quotient value is written. Yes, it is written. But at the same time, I'm doing floor division. Floor division. So floor division and division difference is what you can see. This floor division means like this. It's going to be a remove fractional part and it's going to be get only integral part. 3 by 2 actually 1.05, and now here 0.5 it's coming, removing, and only one value is coming. Even you can see 5 modulus 5 double slash 2 means 5 by 2 2.5. Now result is 2 only, it's come. So this is called floor division, we can say that. Next, 5 modulus 2. Modulus operator will return what? Remainder, not quotient. So remainder is 1. So these are the very simple arithmetic operators we have. Now relational operators also pretty simple. So now let's discuss relational operators. These are the relational operators what we have. That is less than, greater than, equal to, this kind of relation are there here. Now you can see this: less than it is, greater than it is, less than or equal to, then greater than or equal to, now equal to. This is relational operator. Double equal to is always relation operator. Single equal to only we can consider as assignment operator. So later we'll discuss assignment next. Then double equal to relational, then not equal to is relational also. Less than, greater than, less than or equal to, greater than or equal to, equal to, not equal to. These are called relational. So this will maintain some relation between the variables here. Now let's try to do this, but make sure that these relational operators all will return Boolean values only. For example, 2 less than 3. 2 less than 3 is what actually it's a true. So it's completely true. It's going to return true. Now 2 greater than 3, it is false. So like this. And less than or equal to 3, yes it is. Less than or equal to any one condition, it's okay. Less than or equal to, it is also true. This is what relational operators what we have. Now even at the same time, greater than or equal to, greater than or equal to any one condition, that is true. Now equal to, is this correct? 2 equal to, yes it is correct, true. And not equal to means, yes, 2 not equal to 2, wrong. That's what it is, false. So this is what simple relational operators available in Python. Next, coming to the thing, assignment operators. Assignment operator I need to write in detail. Just wait. I am using, this is equals to, this is called assign. Assign. Now we have plus equals to it there. Plus equals to means what, add and assign. Add and assign. Now minus equals to means subtract and assign. Subtract and assign. We can say that. Now star equals to means multiply and assign. Multiply and assign, we can say that. Next, divide equals to means divide and division and assign. Division and assign, we can call it as. Next, floor division equals to, that is floor divide and assign. Floor divide and assign, we can say that. Now modulus equals to modulus and assign. Then star star equals to power and assign. Same arithmetic operators, but these are assignment operators, we can say that. Power and assign, we can say that. Power and assign. So simple assignment is equals to, plus equals to means add and assign, minus equals to subtract and assign, star equal to multiply and assign. Next, slash equals to division and assign, double slash equals to floor divide and assign, modulus equals to module and assign, star star power and assign. Let's see this quickly, practical implementation. Now we can see I'm taking this variable called a equals to 5. Print a. This is simple assignment. Yes. So it is very simple assignment. We can say that. Now immediately we can see a plus equals to 2 I'm doing and print a. So what is the meaning here? A plus equals to, here plus equals to means what's our add and assign, I'm saying yes. First it will add 2 value to the variable, then variable value is how much are 5, then 2 is going to add to the 5, that will be 7. Later it will be 7 will be assigned to a variable, that's what it is, 7 sir. Now you can see this 7 is the value here. And this expression we can also write other way also. Other way means, let's comment section this line, a equals to a plus 2 also you can write. A plus equals to same, a equals to a plus 2 also same. Both are same sir. Both are same. A plus equals to 2 and a equals to a plus 2. Both are same sir. So you can see this. Let's run this. Same thing it's going to be written. 7. Anyone you can write, no problem. So a plus equals to means a equal to a plus 2 means what? 2 value is assigned, 2 value is added to the variable a. A is holding what? 5. 5 plus 2 7. 7 will be assigned to a. This is called add and assign, we can say that. Either you can write this expression or you can write this expression, no problem. Now immediately next, a minus equals to print a I'm doing sir. But what is the value you're expecting? So don't get confused here. So this is not going to apply on 5. Yes. So it is going to apply recent value only. The recent value of a is what sir? 7. On 7 it's going to apply. That means a minus equals to 2 means what? A equals to a minus 2. A value is 7. 7 minus 2 5. 5 will be assigned to what? A. So that's what result we are getting, what sir? 5 here. But don't think so here. On 5 it is going to apply. On 5 if it is applied, then result will be 3. But it is not 3. 5 only. So recent call it will be considered. What is the recent value? A value 7. On 7 it's going to apply now. On 7 it's going to apply means 7 minus 2, that is 5. So 5 value, 5 value it will be there. Now you can see print a is a 5. So this is what subtract and assign. At the same time you can see a star equals to 2 I'm doing. Print a. Print a. So that means what? 5 multiply with 2, then the result value will be 10. We can say that 10. Understand? Yes. Now, for example, a floor division equals to 2. This is division equals to 2. That means divide and assign. Then 2.5 will be assigned to A. It's very simple, 2.5. If it is floor divide and assign, then 0.5 will be removed. Then it's going to be written true only, floor divide and assign. And what about modulus and assign? So same thing, it's going to return what's a remainder, remainder. And what is power and assign? A star star equals to 2. That means 5 to the power of 2. That is 5 square. That is 25. It's going to return. So this is what add and assign and subtract and assign. These are all assignment operators what we have in Python. Now coming to the thing, logical operators. Logical operators are these, sir. In Python, there are 3 logical operators are there, and the next one is or, the next one is not. These are logical operators, logical and, logical or, logical not. So what is AND? So it return true. AND will return true when if if both the conditions, if both the conditions are true. If the both the conditions are true, then that result will be true. You can see this. Return true if both the conditions are true. Return true if both the conditions are true, then otherwise it return what's sir? False. False it will be written. Yes, it will be written false. Return true if both the conditions are true, otherwise it return false. Next, here or return true. Return true. When it will return true? If any one of the conditions, if any one of the condition is true, else it return what's sir? False again. Any one of the condition is true, any one of the condition is true, then it return true, else false. Even it return both the conditions are true, also true, no problem. That is quite simple. Now not means what, opposite. Now you can see return true if the condition is false. Return true if the condition is false. Now here return true, return false. When it will return false if the condition is true. If the condition is true, then it return false. This is opposite now. So return true if the condition is false, return false if the condition is true. Let's apply this. First I will go with AND. So it return true if the both conditions are true only. Let's check out this here. Both conditions are true or not, we'll discuss. Suppose here print directly also you can apply, no problem. If you want to take variables you can take, or else directly also you can apply. 2 less than 3, one of the condition, and 4 less than 5. Both conditions are true, sir. Yes, it is true. 2 less than 3 it is true, and 4 less than 5 it is true. Both the conditions are true, we can say that. Both the conditions are true. Now you can see true. Any one of the condition is true, then it is false. So both the conditions. For example, here I am giving 9 less than 3 and 8 less than 5. Both are false. Absolutely it is false. No doubt at all. It's false. Any one of the condition is true, then what happened? No, it is not. It's still false. So in the AND operation, compulsory both the conditions must be true, sir. Otherwise it return false. I said that clearly here. But R format, it return true if any one of the condition is true. If any one of the condition is true, then only it is return true R. Otherwise it return false. Let's check out here. For example, here I'm using R, OR, R. So 1 less than 3, it's correct. 8 less than 5, it's wrong. But one of the condition is true, no? So that's what it return what's a true value, it's coming. Now you can see true value. 1 less than 3 or 8 less than 5. True only. One of the condition is true. If both are false, then undoubtedly it is false only, no matter it is. If both conditions are false, then it is false. And both conditions are true, then it is true absolutely. This is R. Not means what, it return true if the condition is false, return false if the condition is true, then opposite it is not. So for example here 8 less than 5, the actual result of this condition is what, sir? 8 less than 5, false. For example, if I apply not means, it's going to be written true, reverse. It's written true. It's pretty simple. Now for example here I'm giving 1 less than 5, exactly the result is what's are actually true here. 1 less than 5 is a true result, but whenever you apply not means, that makes sense false. Now you can see not means false. You can see this is up to here. Everybody knows that, because any language is having like this all operators: logical, arithmetic, assignment, and arithmetic, all those things. Okay, arithmetic, assignment, logical, relational, all operators common. But when it comes to membership operators and identity operators are different. Even bitwise operators also, many of them knows. I'll tell you clearly, don't worry. Membership operators are different. So what is the use of membership operators here? So membership operators are used to check, whether the value is present, in sequence or not. Yes, we have plenty of sequence data types like list, set, tuple, all, string, all are plenty of sequence data types we have. So these membership operators are used to check whether the value is present in sequence or not. So if you want to know that your provided value is present in the sequence or not, then we can apply some membership operators. Easily we can able to get your membership operator values clearly. How to check? What are the operators, membership operators? Yes, in, not in. In is a keyword, sir. Yes, in is a keyword. If you want, you can check out in the keyword list. You know that very well how to get keyword list in Python. So it's pretty simple. Import keyword, then print keyword dot kw list, we can say that. Now let's check out import keyword, print kw keyword dot kw list. Now you can see this somewhere you are going to find out in is there here. This is a keyword. Not in means opposite, that is. So this is completely keyword. So in is a keyword. This is membership operator. So what is the use of in and not in? We'll see this. In and not in, both are only wherever it is, wherever you observe this in and not in, you can say straight away these are membership operators only. So what it will do? In will return true. When it will return true? If the value is present in sequence. If the value, your provided value is really present in sequence, it return true. Else it return what's a false. Not in means you are going to check in the opposite way. Like if your value is really not present in the sequence, then it return true. Otherwise it return false. Now not in means return true, if the value, is not present in sequence. If the value is not present in sequence, else it return what's a false, we can say that. Let me check out quickly. So in, not in, so how it will work, whether it is working properly or not. So I will check out that. So in means return true if the value is present in sequence, else false. Not in means it return true if the value is not present in sequence, otherwise else false, we can say that. This is in and not in, we can say that. Let's try to do this quickly here. In and not in, we'll check out clearly. Okay, so let's try to do this in and not in. Now first of all, for that purpose I need to use one sequence. Any sequence you can take. For example, L is my list value. You know that how to create list, like 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, just values I'm giving. Any values randomly you can take, no problem. But my requirement is what? One of the value I need to supply as an input. That value is present in my sequence or not, I have to check. One of the value I need to supply, so that value is present in sequence or not, I want to check out. For example, 100 value, I want to know whether it is present in list or not. List value is what? L. 100 in L I have to supply. Is that 100 value in L? That means 100 is present in list L? No, it's not present in list L. You can check out here, it's not present in list L. False. It written false. I said that clearly. In means return true if the value is present in sequence. Otherwise, it return false because value is not really present in your sequence. Sequence can be of any one, sir, not only list. Okay, even in string also possible. For example, I am taking s equals to string value MOHEN. So I want to check out letter H in S. Is that letter H in S? H is available in S. Now you can see this. It's going to available. Return true. Yes. For example, letter X in S, no, X is not there in your target string. So that's what it return false. It's the same like this. So it's a sequence means any one of this, not only string, not only list, not only tuple, any one of you can use. For example, L equals to I'm using 10, 20, 30, 40, same. So I want to apply. So for example, here 10 in S. 10 is available in L. Yes, it is available in list actually. 10 is there in the list. So it is going to return true. For example, 10 not in apply. I'm applying not in. Not in means opposite. I'm reverse order. I'm checking. If really my element, my value is not present in sequence, that is list, it return true. But actually 10 is there in the list. So you are checking not in way. So it's going to be written false. 10 not in L. No, it is in L. For example, 100 not in L. Yes, exactly. 100 is not there in list. So you can able to check. Sir, where we use exactly what is the need to cross verify this checking process? The thing is actually in reality, you don't know some extent what sequence values are there, but unfortunately by accidentally whenever you try to delete some value, if the value is not there, you will get error for sure. For example, you can see this. I have a list actually. I'm trying to remove I'm trying to remove the list value 100, but unfortunately this 100 value is not there in the list. Okay, not there in the list. So you are trying to delete that. So you got an error, value error. It is an exception actually. To avoid this scenario, before going to apply some conditions like remove process, you can able to cross verify whether the item or value is present in your sequence or not. So easily we can able to cross verify. So while cross verifying, if the item is there, no problem, it is going to remove. It's happily it can be removed. If you know clearly the item is perfectly there, sir, then I'm trying to remove, then you can do this. But if item is not there, what happened? You don't have clarity whether item is present or not. In that process, before going to try to remove this, then why don't we check that whether it is item is there or not? For example, 100 I want to delete. So let me check out 100 is there in or not. If it is there, I want to delete, otherwise I don't want. So let's check out. If it is there, it return true. False means I cannot remove this because 100 is not at all there. Then why I should remove? So in that case, we have to check. Not only context of list I'm speaking, every sequence you can say that. I said clearly the mentioning here sequence data type, any data type. Membership operators are used to check whether the value is present in sequence or not. Okay, so this is what in, not in, wherever you apply. So easily we can able to find out these are membership operators in Python. These are only exclusively for check whether your member means any value of sequence present in your sequence or not, you can able to find out. Now coming to the thing, identity operators. Identity operators are different and membership operators are different. What is identity operators? So identity operators are used to check whether whether the variables are having having same identity or not, we can able to check. So identity operators are used to check whether the variables are having same identity or different identity. Yes, we can able to check. So how we can able to check, sir, whether it is having same identity or different identity? In what way it will be checked? Let's give that example. But before that example, what kind of identity operators are there? How I can identify this is so and so identity operator? Yes, is not. These two are identity operators. Is not. Yes, is also a keyword. You can check out in the keyword list. So I said that clearly. Every keyword I'll cover in our class, but I'm covering this is keyword now. You can see this is keyword list. It is there is. Understand? So you can see this identity operators, how we can check. These operators are used to check whether the variables are having same identity or different identity. So one is and another one is not, we can say that. Let's try to do this now. So a equals to 2, a equals to 2. Next, b equals to 3. I'm taking wantedly some different values. I want to check a and b both are having same identity or not. So let's check out. A is b. A is b. No, a is not b. For sure. A and b and both are different, sir. These two are don't have same identity. False. Print A is not B. Yes, A is not B. Yes, A is not B. A is different and B is different. That's what A is not B. A is not B is true. So it's going to be true. You may get big doubt. Sir, what basis it's going to check? So let me check out now. You can see if the value is there 2 and 2, these two are having both identity. Same identity. A is B. Yes, it's true. Absolutely true. A is not B. It is false. So these are having both are same identity. But if the values their value is same, then both identity is same. But actually in internally, what basis it will be checked whether two variables are having same identity or not means. So there is a built-in function in Python. Yes, that built-in function name is called ID function. Yes, it's a built-in function. So this ID function will return unique integer, will return always this ID function will return unique integer, sir. Unique integer. It will return unique integer, and it will return memory address, memory address, memory address of the variable. Not only variable, even functions also, class also, completely anything memory address. If you want to find out, then we can apply ID function. It will return memory address of variable, we can say that. Internally, based on this ID function, whether that is identity or not, we can able to check same identity or different identity. ID function is used to get memory address of the variable, and that memory address is completely unique integer only. Every variable is having its own unique integer value. If that based on unique integer, if two variables unique integer value is same, then identity of the variables are same. If two variables unique integer is different, then identity of the two variables are different, we can say that. So it return unique integer will return memory address of the variable. Let's check out quickly here. For example, a value 2, b value 2. I want to get id of a. Id is a built-in function, I said. It return memory address of the variable. Now you can see this run test one. So id of a means memory address of variable a is what, sir? This is actually memory address. Let me check out memory address of b also, how it is possible. Now print id of what we can say, b, id of b. Now let's run this one. Now you can see id of b, id of a, both are same memory address. Observe here, same number, same unique number. That's what print print a is b. If I say it's a true, sir, it's a true, sir, completely it's true. Now you can see this, it's true. Understand? Or else you can able to check out boolean operator also here. Print id of a equals to id of b, we can say that. Id of a equals to id of b. This is also possible. In this way also we can able to cross verify. Both are same. But once I change the value, you can see this a value 2, b value 3, then now is this both are same identity? No, it's completely different identity. Yes, you can ask me, no problem. Type in the chat box, I'll get it clearly. So this is called false. Both are having different identity. You can see this. This is unique identity different, and this unique identity is completely different. We can say that. Yes. You can type in the chat box, Mr. G1, what we have a doubt. Okay. Now this is what unique integer. It's completely unique integer. For a change, I'm going to show you clearly. Now you can see my identity value is a value is Mohan I'm giving, and here a value is Mohan I'm giving. Both are same identity. Yes, undoubtedly both are having same identity. You can see this same identity. But whenever I'm changing the value here, capital M, now observe here. Now you can see, then you can see test one false. Both are not same. Yes. How it is possible that two values can have the same address? Yes, in Python compulsory based on the value, it will occupy same memory itself. Yes, undoubtedly. Why? Because the thing is, it is an interpreter. Interpreter means one by one value it will be going to store in the memory. Same value it is there, same allocation is possible here. So that's what it is, same address it's going to be written. Okay, it's not like other languages. So this is identity operators like in, not in, sorry, is and is not. We can able to check. It's not same with string. It's here not totally, not only same. Here you can see this string and string based on the value. Here this string is different and this string is different. No? So here I use small m. Here it is capital M. Both are different different identity, not having same identity. Okay, so that's what. If I remove this small capital M and if I give small m, then what happen? You can see this both are having same identity now. True will be written. So this is the values are coming like this here. So this is identity operators in Python what we have. So is not. So you can able to check like this also comparison. So print A is not B. No, A is B. Both are having same identity. Now you can see these are having same identity, sir. Okay, so A is not B, false. No, A is B. So that's what it written false. If A is B means it written true. So these are all identity operators what we have in this case. Now bitwise operators are there. Bitwise operators are used to perform bit by bit operations. Generally, bitwise operators can be used in what we can say low level programming like hardware cases, networking programming we can use. What we can say to develop some compiler or translators kind of things, we can use bitwise operators. For faster calculation, faster computing purpose, we can use bitwise operators. We have list of bitwise operators like bitwise and, bitwise or, bitwise not, bitwise exclusive or, left shift, right shift, all those things. Okay, so that's this bitwise operators we will be covered in next session. In the first 20 minutes I will discuss about bitwise operators clearly. Then later we can move to control statements in Python. That means conditional statement, iterative statement, transfer statements will be there. That is important. Tomorrow session is very important because we will discuss completely logical scenario like if condition, if else, nested if, elif, for loop, while loop, nested for loop, and break statement, continue statement, pass keyword, all those things. If you understand those logical, then easily we can able to understand all data structures and we can able to start applying more functionalities on each and every data structure like string, list, set, and so on. Okay, so don't miss the session tomorrow. Even if you missed, I'll send the recorded video, but don't miss that. If it is possible, then you can try to attend for sure tomorrow session, because in tomorrow session I'll cover completely logical things. That means it in reality compulsory you can use these operators somewhere, and also logical things like if else, nested if, elif, and while statement, while condition, for loop condition we can use compulsory in real time. Without that logic we can't perform any operations in our in real time case. That's what I strongly recommend to attend tomorrow session. Don't miss that. Okay, so now that's all about today's session. And you have any questions related to this today's session, you can ask me, no problem. So I'll be here. I'll be wait for 5 to 10 minutes here. You can able to ask me, no problem at all. I'll discuss clearly, no problem at all. Yeah, tell me, sir. Any doubts? Type in
Sir,
the
is
chat
it
box.
possible?
Yeah, tell me. Yeah.
Hello, sir. Is it possible to make any WhatsApp group for more discussion about the class or any doubts? Is any possibility? No.
No, actually, according to our institute policies, I can't make that WhatsApp group. So sorry for that. Actually, even though you asked in the last session my phone number also, so
Yes,
uh,
yes, yes.
that's not possible to handle.
No,
But
okay.
you can
If
do.
if the no, if the if I registered for the course, then it is possible to take the for getting your contact number at least for any
Yeah,
doubt or
yeah,
any time to
yeah,
call.
yeah. That's sure. You can that too. You can approach to our admin people. So if they'll give, then you can take happily, no problem at all. No issues for me. You can interact with any
Okay.
time.
Because as
And
a
even
student, no, if the student circle, if there is a WhatsApp group, at least we can practice through the
yes,
WhatsApp.
yeah,
If registered member, only I'm talking about if it is registered members.
yeah, that's what will give me 1 or 2 days. Then once I get the contact list, all the people who are joined in this course, so I'll make one
Sure.
group sure that you can discuss, keep on discuss. And I'll make one WhatsApp group and you can share your screenshots to WhatsApp group. Then if possible, I'll reply. Nowadays I'll be free due to
Uh,
COVID-19, so I can able to give any immediate reply also, you can get, no problem. Or else
sure, sure.
those
It,
who
it
want.
will be more appreciable, sir. Sure, sure.
Sure, sure. Undoubtedly, I will do
Yeah.
that. But give me one or
Okay.
2 days. Once you completely, I don't know how many people will be continue this session. So once I got the
Yeah.
confirmation from our team, so I can make one group and that we will
Yeah.
interact. And Even some people not interested to interact with WhatsApp through, then you can feel free to mail us. Then I can reply you also. Don't worry about that. In that
Fine,
context, I
fine.
can help. Yes.
Yeah. Okay, okay. Because at
But
least our class members we can get familiar as a
sure,
student.
sure, sure. Yes, yes. For
So
subject point
okay,
of view, I'll go with any extent level for my students. No problem at all.
okay, sir. Thank you.
Hello. Hi, sir. Sir, will
Yeah.
you give programs for the practice every day? I mean, after the class?
Yes, after the class, once within 1 or 2 days, you just wait. So according to the topic, for sure, I'll give exercise questions also. You should come with that exercise code in the later sessions. Tomorrow I'm starting logical, no? So then I'll start the questions. I'll start giving the questions to you.
Okay, okay.
Excuse me, sir. Sir, yesterday you asked me to join from the same link, but I tried
Yes.
doing that. I could not join, and then I contact the management of Durga Software, and they send me another link. So that is why I had to join late. So if there is any change in the link, like please let
Oh
us
no,
know, sir.
Mr. Jeevan, are you speaking Jeevan Aditya?
Yes, sir. Yes.
Yeah, yeah. Why don't you got link? Even I personally from my mail ID through you got a link, no? So I have your mail ID. You can check out. I think so. I sent to
Oh,
everybody. So yeah, as a responsible person, I send one more time also link because my team always it will be sent. But if anything miss chances, then you can see this. I
okay.
sent to Gmail. So
Yeah,
you got.
that should be my fault, sir. Then I thought, yeah, yeah. Thanks, sir. Thanks for that.
Even that actually afternoon only I sent that all the students those who joined the previous sessions for them I sent personally through my mail ID through only. You got it, I think so all.
Actually, this is a morning time for me, so I think I could not check the mail, sir. It was my fault.
Okay, okay, okay. Your location is somewhat different from India, no? So okay, I understood.
Yeah, yeah, sir.
No problem. And moreover, tomorrow onwards, you can join on same links are okay for continuously 5 6 days. It will be there. Even if the link is going to expire, I will intimate you. I'll make you to notice. Don't worry about that. You can leave it to me that things. Okay, you will get complete alert. And make sure then tomorrow onwards, I'll start a session 8:10 sharply because some people are requested to me. Can you please start a bit delay? So that will be good for us. 8:10, 8:05 to 8:10. I'll start session. Okay. So keep remember
Thank you, sir.
this notice. 8 to 8:10 I'll start. 8:10 I'll start the session. You can join and you can stay in the online 5 to 10 minutes, no problem. So even I will join at 8 o'clock only. Those who join early, you can have the chance to discuss with me regarding previous sessions. First 10 minutes you can utilize that kind of things. Then after that,
Yeah,
once I
much
got
better is.
yeah, that is the better actually. Those who have
Yeah, yeah.
some doubt and you can join sharp 8 o'clock. I'll be there in online 8 o'clock. Then you can discuss with me for 10 minutes. And anyway, at the end of the session also, I'll give some 10 minutes of time to discuss, no problem. So you can utilize that time also if you have doubts. For sure, session will be start 8:05 to 8:10 minutes. It will be start. And this recorded video you will get by today night or early morning tomorrow. I'll send it. Don't worry about that. Okay. And strictly
Okay,
remember,
sir.
those who not share your mail IDs so far, you can please share your mail IDs. I think all people are getting my all 3 videos previously, whatever we discussed. And still, sir, I didn't get any video of yours means you can share your mail ID. I think so. Mail ID compulsory required. Mr. Ayush
Sir, please
Mishra,
take.
uh,
Yeah, I
Om
have one
Murthy,
doubt, sir.
very good.
Hello.
Tell me, sir. Tell me, sir.
Yeah, yeah. Actually, I missed out the first session. Is there any continuation for that two concepts and all, sir? So
Yeah,
after complete this, the courses and all completed.
yeah, compulsory. Yeah, OOPS concept also will be there. No, OOPS concept compulsory we will discuss. That is advanced Python, it will come. Complete high level
Oh,
programming we'll discuss in object oriented programming also. No problem at all.
oh,
Without OOPS, it's difficult to survive in reality. Compulsory OOPS concepts in detail we'll
yeah.
discuss.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you.
So, Mr. Omurthy,
And
so
one
far
more.
any videos, no?
Sorry, sir. I could not get you.
You didn't receive any videos from us.
Yeah, I did not receive any videos.
Okay, like today you will get all videos from the beginning session to till today's session also you'll get. You can watch that videos if you miss, then you can continue from tomorrow on same link.
Okay. Okay.
Yes. Yeah.
And one more thing, sir. Actually, in between or after complete this course, is it possible to do any like POC concept and all?
What concept? Can you come again, please?
Yeah, it's a POC, proof of concept. Some little bit like it's like a module wise. Is it possible to do any thing on that one by using this
You
Python?
see, we have a concept called modules and packages, but I really not getting what you're asking. Can you please tell me once again? POC means what? Project kind of thing you're
Yeah,
asking?
suppose okay. Yeah, project wise. Like suppose I am working in some other company. So
Hmm.
like that, if any project is there, like little bit module wise.
Yeah.
Uh,
The thing is actually one thing I can say, Mr. Omurthy. So this is completely programming language. Only using programming language, we can't make a complete project. So if you want to make project, then you have to learn Django framework. Framework is nothing but that is completely web development framework. There we can able to design the website kind of thing, and we can able to write Python programming language. Then there is a possibility to make some project there. But here it is completely programming language. But even though you're asking, still I'll try to do some graphical user interface, one small kind of project. I'll try to do this. We have a GUI concept
yeah.
also, Python GUI. In that there is a possibility. Okay.
Okay, that will be great.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Yes. Any questions? Yes. So okay, sir. Thank you, all of you. We'll see tomorrow at same time, 8 o'clock. Those who are having doubts, you can join at 8 o'clock, and you can discuss with me 5 to 10 minutes. Then we'll start the session. Have a nice time. See you tomorrow at same time.
Okay, sir. Thank you so much. Good
Yeah.
night.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.